Hello, Nevada! So, hello, Nevada. Look, even my supporters, we got to behave yourself because my mom is here right now. I'm proud that my mom is a Nevadan. I'm proud that my grandparents lived in Nevada. And I tell you this, my dad died here. It was during my primary to become a United States Senator. My father had a stroke and went to a hospital right here in Las Vegas. And I was distressed. My mom told me, don't leave the primary. It's days before it. He's in the hospital. He's stable. I'm going to be with him. And I will never forget, I'm competing in a primary to become a United States Senator, but I'll never forget getting a call from a man named Harry Reid. Harry told me, stay on the trail. I will go and be with your mom. Harry Reid did not know me, but he went to the hospital. He sat with my mom. And when Harry Reid comes in the hospital, folk respond. I want you to know that. My dad's quality of care from these incredible professionals was already great, but it got a little greater. My dad then died 6 days before I was elected to the United States Senate. Harry was one of those early calls to me. When I got to the Senate, there were two people I saw before I stood before Joe Biden to be sworn in on the floor of the United States Senate. And the first, my mom took me because she knew the void in my heart that my dad was gone, but she took me to see John Lewis, who was so humble, was so moving, was telling me what it meant to him to see the fourth black person ever elected to the United States Senate. This is what he said he fought for and stood for. And then I left and I went to Harry Reid's office, and he hugged me and he told me, you will be a great senator. And then he sent me out to the floor of the United States Senate where I got sworn in by Joe. I'll never forget my mom's words that day. She goes, son, as we were walking from John Lewis to Harry Reid, she was going off on me. I don't know if any senator ever got sworn in with a mother lecturing them the entire way. But my mom's like, boy, never forget what had to get you here. Never forget the sacrifices and the struggles. Don't forget, boy, remember that the title doesn't make the man has got to make the title. Well, I want to tell you tonight, there are a lot of candidates in this race, but I want to tell you that I am running not just because I stand with my colleagues on believing that health care should be a right. I stand with my colleagues in understanding that we have to meet the existential crisis of climate change. I stand with my colleagues and know that a system of mass incarceration in a nation that professes freedom is obscene and objectively wrong. But I want to tell you right now, I am running for president of the United States, not because of him, not because of one man in one office, not because of his moral vandalism. We don't win as Democrats when we run races about simply what we're against. We win them when we talk about what we're for and who we're for and how we fight. And so, tonight I want to tell you, I'm running for president because I believe in us. This is a moral moment in America. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It's not about left or right. It is about right or wrong. It is about the character of our country. And we as Democrats now, we have to understand that the objective we have, yeah, we want to win elections. We want to send Mitch McConnell to the back bench. We want to get a new president, but we're not running on the short-term political goal of beating Republicans. We must run on the larger goal of uniting Americans again. Because we're a nation where we even agree on things. 90% of Americans agree on common sense gun safety regulation, but we don't even get the things done we agree on. This is a moral moment because here we are in America where we're the first generation of our life expectancy going down, where we say we love our children, but every other competitor, global industrialized nation has universal prenatal care, but we lead with infant mortality, maternal mortality. That we say we're the home of the brave, but our veterans, when they come home, are disproportionately homeless. That we say we believe in liberty and justice for all, but we are a nation that treats you better, as my friend Brian Stevenson says, if you're rich and guilty than if you're poor and innocent. This is an election where we have to see in this race, it's about having a revival of civic grace. It's about having a more courageous empathy for one another. It is remembering that patriotism is love of country, and you cannot love your country unless you love your fellow countrymen and women. And love is not sentimentality. It's not weak and anemic. Love is what you see in how Harry Reid led his life, standing for people, being there in the clutch. Love is what got people to storm beaches in Normandy together. It's what had people, when they tried to beat us down at Stonewall or push us back at Selma, had us clinging together, not turning against each other, but turning to each other, not picking up arms, but joining arms and standing and marching and fighting for a better America. I'm running for president of the United States because I believe in us. I believe we're a better nation when we put more indivisible into this one nation under God. I believe that the lines that divide us are not as strong as the ties that bind us. And let me tell you this right now. We need radical change. But every generation has had it. But remember how we made that radical change. Some people say to me, Cory, you know, you're not going to beat Donald Trump with love. And I tell them right away, I'm the guy that has a movie about him called Street Fight. Oscar nominated. I'm the guy that took on a political machine. You can fight with a ferocity but without being cruel. You can fight with strength without being mean. You can lift folks up without tearing others down. This is a moral moment. We will not beat Donald Trump by being more Trumpy. We must beat his darkness with our light. We must beat his hate with our love. And this is what we got to remember, Nevada. The candidate we must choose must be the antidote to what King said, where he said the problem today is not just the vitriolic words and violent actions of the bad people, it's the appalling silence and inaction of the good people. Our next nominee has got to be the best person to inspire us to common cause, to get us off the sidelines, to remember that democracy's a verb. I'm running because I know, whether you're suburban or rural, black or Latino, that I can be the next leader to ignite this country. To remember, not just that we need to fight, but why we fight. And so I ask everybody right now to remember why we fight. We fight for our children. We fight for those who may not pray like us or look like us, but they are just as American as us. We fight because we know that we are all in this together, that our founders, as imperfect as they were, ended the Declaration of Independence with a declaration of interdependence. They said that we must, if we're going to make it as a nation, mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. We fight to revive those ideals in our country at a time that someone is torching them. But let me tell you, I don't care how many people try to tear us down. Our history speaks that we are a nation that has always responded by coming together and rising up. And now it's time again. It is that moment in history again that we must join together in a chorus and say, we will rise. We will rise for health care for all. We will rise for public schools and public education. We will rise for the mentally ill and the homeless. We will rise for economic justice. We will rise for our unions. Let us remember that we Democrats come from a great stock. When the Russians beat us to Sputnik, in the air with Sputnik, we didn't tear each other apart. We joined together with hidden figures, together with white astronauts, and we went to the moon. We come from Kennedy, who pointed to the moon, King, who pointed to a mountaintop and said, we will rise. When they pushed us back at Selma and they tried to stop us at Stonewall, we said, we will rise. Well, with Donald Trump in the White House, he may try to tear us down, but in this next election, we will rise. And I'll tell you this, to end with the great words of a poet, Donald Trump may try to demean and degrade and divide, but we will answer him with our hearts and our spirits and our courage and grit and love. And as that poet said, he may try to write us down in history with his bitter, twisted lies. He may try to trot us down in the very dirt, but America, like dust, like courage, like our ancestors, we will rise. Thank you, Nevada. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your decency and your kindness. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage Mayor Pete Buttigieg.